I encountered something from hell while driving through the woods at night, and I never used dirt roads again. Welcome to the Crafty Cryptid, where you can watch DIY crafts while listening to the darkest and most mysterious tales I can find on the internet. Today is a very special episode because it marks the end of the first season of the Crafty Cryptid. This has been an amazing year, and I thank you all for your support and your comments. Being that it is the end of the season, I'm going to be taking a break during September. But don't worry, when I return at the beginning of October, there will be even more spooky tales in store for you as I start out Season 2 with True Crime October. So, make sure you've got notifications on so that you don't miss a single video. Today, let's listen to an r/NoSleep story from Reddit user economy_candidate 299. Most people in my town think I'm crazy, but the following story is true. My friend let me use her Reddit account to post this. She wanted to help me spread awareness about this goddamn thing from hell I encountered a while back. Told me writing this out would help, too. I remember it well enough. I can still see it in my head. It wasn't an animal. It wasn't even human. While I was driving through the woods to get home quicker one night, the car suddenly sputtered, then stopped. The headlights and radio gave out too. It wouldn't start. And I sat there in the dark, cussing out my frustration. Regardless, I turned on my phone's flashlight. I got out and checked under the hood. While doing that, I heard bugs singing and I smelled wet wood and grass. It was warm outside, but not too bad. It must have been some time before I jumped a bit. I heard a twig snap somewhere beside me, and more twigs snapping. Snap, snap, snap. And then some leaves crackling. Slow movements, whatever's moving. I turned around and watched out here and there like a sharp-eyed eagle. I checked here and there trying to see it. It got louder and louder. Another twig snap, and I jumped. I looked around. My hair stood up at every angle, and I didn't like that. Didn't see much except trees, bushes, and grass, but the snapping and the crackling was too much. I tensed up and gave a holler. I said, "I got a gun!" But that was a lie. I didn't have a gun. I figured I might scare whatever it was off. "I don't scare easy," I said. "I got a gun with me, concealed carry. You hear me? A gun!" Probably gave that same holler twice or thereabouts. I was in the woods and figured it's a bear or a bobcat, maybe a lynx or a deer. The woods tend to have a lot of activity at night. Mother Nature never went to bed. Then whatever snapped and crackled stopped doing that for a while. I returned to the driver's seat and called my wife. "You sure the car died?" she asked. "Yeah," I mumbled. "Damn thing gave up." "I'll call the sheriff," she promised me. "Where are you?" I didn't answer her. "Ray?" my wife said again. "Ray." She went on and on. "Ray!" I didn't answer because I swear I saw something in the corner of my eye. I didn't know what it was, but I stayed in the car. I flashed my light, and my phone disconnected by then. Something was coming closer and closer to the car. For some reason, I just sat there. I couldn't move. It's like time froze. I set my flashlight on it thinking it's some animal. Only it wasn't. It wasn't a Bigfoot. It wasn't even human. I remember seeing it from the passenger side window. This This thing had long spider legs, long and bendy and hairy, but I counted 4 of them. No ears, yellow glowing eyes, a white flapjack face with no nose, and this sick, sick grin. Ear to ear kind of grin. It moved its legs one at a time, like a slow spider. My hands were shaking as I fumbled with the keys. The car wouldn't start. The damn thing wouldn't start. And the thing outside, it was reaching for me. Every second made my heart jump from my chest. For a minute, I thought I couldn't breathe. Then fight or flight took over, and I chose flight. I fumbled with my door until it opened. The thing stopped reaching and stared at me. I started running. Heard the worst cry from the depths of hell. And I heard something like metal being scratched up. Screaming, too. I didn't give another thought about it and just ran for my life. Must have been pale like a ghost. I wanted to live. I heard more twigs snapping around me, and I thought my heart would explode. Sweat drenched my brow. I started thinking about my life. I wasn't ready to die that night. Been an honest man all my life, good and kind, helpful. Not gonna die like a damn dog, I kept saying. This went on and on. I wasn't sure if it followed me some part of the way. I kept thinking I survived. Did the story end there? Looking back, I wish it did. Must have ran 1 or 2 miles on that dirt road. I remember making a turn and tripped. It took me a minute to realize I was in the open field just outside the woods. No houses for a few miles around, just trees a half-mile way ahead. The full moon was shining by then. It was so quiet I could hear the bugs singing again. After listening for some rustling behind me or a scream from hell, nothing. Thank God. Relieved, I reached for my phone, but it wasn't there. I must have dropped it near the car. As I got to my feet and started walking, I had goosebumps because I had a feeling it wasn't over. All of a sudden, it got too quiet. No bugs were singing, no wind. Just me breathing heavily and my shoes crushing dirt and grass. I walked faster. Started singing a song to calm my nerves. All the while, I felt like I was being watched. To comfort myself, I started thinking since home wasn't far, I could just run over there. I didn't know what was coming next. Something hard tackled me from behind. It took me a second to realize the thing from hell came back. It had stretched its neck like a snake and faced me straight on. Now in the open, with the moon shining, I could tell it was heavier than me. It was sitting on my legs, numbing them. Must have been 200 pounds, at least. I swear I shit my pants as I stared at it back. I was stuck. I was screaming inside. I tried to move, but those damn eyes. I remember its eyes glowing like a lynx, all yellow and shiny on its flat face. Looked at me like it was all over for me. A fly caught in a spider's web. Must have shown me its sick ear-to-ear grin. That moment, I thought I'd just shit my pants again. I couldn't move. My heart was pounding like crazy. All the feeling in my legs gave out. The thing then used its long, hairy arms to press me down. It felt like ice. The next thing I remember was feeling the thing grabbing me by the legs. Cold, prickling feelings those fingers gave like damn needles. The world seemed to slow down for me after that. I I felt the hard rock and dirt scraping my back. I tried kicking and grabbing at grass, at anything. I kicked at it and it scratched me somewhere. I soon felt something wet and sticky on my stomach as I hollered out. It hurt like hell. I thought I'd pass out any minute. The thing's hold nearly cut off my circulation. Tears came down. I never felt so useless in my life. It kept dragging me, roughing up my back. I saw the trees again. They were blocking the stars. After fighting the pain, I finally screamed until my throat hurt. I couldn't scream anymore. I remembered thinking, this is it. I was a lucky man that night. Looking back, I remember telling my wife and friends, hell, even the sheriff about this thing. The doctor. I even thanked the driver who saved me. I told the other town folk. No one believed me except my wife. My friend who runs this Reddit account took a while to believe this too. Everybody else figured it was a bear. Since that night, I stopped taking that dirt road. Drove on the main one instead. I still see the dirt road every day driving by it. Occasionally I wonder about that thing, what it's up to. Glad I never saw it again. Glad I'm still alive. Still shook up every time I think about it. I swear if that car hadn't come in time, it could have been a lot worse. I still have the scar. It ran across my stomach like I got slashed by a knife. It took a while for my legs to get better too. They're not too bad now. Take my advice. Got stuck on the main road? Deal with it. Don't take dirt roads through the woods for shortcuts. Especially in my town. That thing might still be out there, waiting. I hope you enjoyed this video. To be notified when I post next, click subscribe and ding the notification bell. I will see you all at the beginning of October. Thank you for a wonderful first season. And stay safe out there, cryptids.